Today, what I really want to talk about is beauty and what do you do if you feel insecure about your looks and if you compare yourself to others. So stay tuned.
Mr. Healthy Love.
Hi, I'm Mr. Healthy Love, your dating coach. And this is my first video on YouTube, so welcome. This channel is Mr. Healthy Love for women. So if you're a guy and you want to check out the men's channel, then click in the link in the description below. At the end of the video, I'm going to be telling you how you can message your dating and relationship problems so that you have the opportunity for your questions to be answered in future YouTube videos. So make sure you watch until the end. Now, we all have insecurity to a certain degree about whether we are enough. Whether that be our looks, what we do for a job, how much money we earn, or are we successful? Especially in today's society where you see the perfect person on social media, and it's inevitable that you're going to start comparing these people with yourself. Now, there is something very interesting about looks in particular. Beauty has always been partly a social construct of society. So, if you look back at the Tudor period during the Elizabethan era, having pale skin was a sign of wealth and nobility, whereas having a tan skin meant that you had to work hard in the outdoor climate under the beaming sun. Fast forward to today and we've done a complete 180. Having pale skin society deems as being less healthy, probably because you have to spend your day working indoors in an office, for example. Whereas having a golden tan shows that you don't have to work because you're probably lying on a beach somewhere. Now, if you actually think about that in itself tells you that attractiveness is merely a perception. And perception in most eyes is reality. Now, what I want to talk about is how can you turn that into your favor? You know, what is it that is actually attractive? I've just proven to you that living in two different eras have a complete opposite perception of what is attractive. So how can we use that to our advantage? We need to focus on our perception of how we feel inside because we are the only ones who can control that, no one else. You may think that others can control you by putting you down. But the truth is that they can only do that if you allow them to. Have you ever had that feeling when you go out with one of your friends who is stunning, or so is your perception of her, and you start comparing yourself to her? It doesn't help when all of the guys are trying to chat her up and they completely ignore you. You feel like crap, right? It's a horrible feeling and you start to question your self-worth because when nobody is directing any attention towards you, you feel left out. You can start to wonder whether anyone would even notice if you were there. You may as well be invisible. Could it get any worse? Well, actually, yes. If someone then starts talking to you as a sympathy vote whilst your friend is living a carefree time enjoying being centre of attention, it can really start to affect your self-esteem. And you know what happens when you start to believe that you're not even worthy enough to sit next to your friend? It just makes the situation even worse. You start feeling self-conscious, you speak even less because you think no one is interested in listening to what you have to say. And you know, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. People can feel your presence and know that you don't feel worthy of being there. The reality is though, that most people are thinking about themselves and how much fun that they are having instead of worrying about you. And therefore, no one is really paying that much attention, or nowhere near as much attention as you think. And it's nowhere near the degree to which you feel self-conscious and out of place. And by the way, if you feel this video is of value, then just click the like button. Now, in the Bible, God once said to Moses, "I am that I am." And just remember that that is a very powerful message. I am is such a powerful affirmation. So if you say to yourself, "I am ugly," or "I am not good enough to get the kind of guy that I'm looking for," then you're aligning yourself to that outcome. Instead, say to yourself, "I am enough, I am beautiful, I am who I am." Those words are so powerful because you're saying, this is me, this is who I am. I am not ashamed to be me because I know that I am not less than or better than anyone else. Not less than my friend just because someone else's perception is that she's more physically beautiful than I am. And when you come with that raw knowing of who you are, people can see that. And that is where your confidence lies. Because when you don't care what other people think, and I mean truly don't care, not in an egotistical way, "Oh, I don't care," but deep down you do. I mean, you know yourself and your worth to such an extent that it really doesn't matter what anyone else thinks of you. And when you come with that energy and vibe, people are going to be drawn to you because you will be at peace and enjoying the moment for what it is. And they will wonder, how is this person so secure with themselves? Any pain that you have from not feeling good enough is from wanting to be someone or in another place that you aren't. So that's something I'm going to leave you with and probably you need to think about. But leave a comment below if you have any thoughts on this. I'm going to answer as many comments as I possibly can, so do leave some feedback. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And there is a new dating forum on my website at mrhealthylove.com where we can create a worldwide community of people who can interact with each other and ask questions on relationships and dating. So make sure you get on there as well. Especially in this period where people are quarantining and not really interacting with as many people as they used to, we can create an area where people with like-minded ideas can grow and become better people. It's a great area where you can follow other members and message each other within the community. And you can also download the Mr. Healthy Love app by downloading the Wix app and by using the invite code in the description below. I'll also be on there answering questions. And if your question is particularly good, I'll be analysing and giving advice to questions on future YouTube videos. So I recommend you joining the community now, and it's completely free. And if you'd like one-to-one coaching, I do email and telephone sessions that you can book on the same site, mrhealthylove.com. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.